Hidey hole food plots can be one of the best hunting strategies, especially for bow hunters. To have a successful plot, it comes down to three things: sunlight, seed to soil contact, and a timely rain. In big timber country, a very palatable food source during the late summer, early fall, winter, and that can be the ticket to bringing a deer within bow range. If hunters can position a hidey hole within 50, 75 yards of high quality cover, deer don't have to move very far to go from cover to high quality food. Just because you position a hidey hole food plot right next to high quality cover, you need to be able to approach, hunt, and exit that location without alerting deer. If you're alerting deer, it doesn't matter how great your food plot looks, you just can't hunt it. In the fall, we're dominated by acorns, but before acorns drop, after acorns have been consumed, having an attractive food source, that green, palatable forage in the middle of timber, that goes a long ways. And those hidey hole food plots are only 20, 30 yards across there. Any deer coming in to feed, head down, is within bow range. These small plots are not feeding deer through the entire year. It's not going to provide enough protein to maximize antlers. Yeah, there's some additional groceries on the ground, but the primary goal of these hidey holes is to hunt over. And we even plant our hidey holes in the summer because we want to condition deer to start feeding in that area. It may seem a little late to be talking about planting a summer crop in our hidey holes, but remember, that crop, it may not mature. We just need to have something green in there to start attracting deer and get them comfortable feeding in the area. If you've done your research and you're planning, some species that you could add to your summer crop may actually still be palatable into the beginning of the season. We have some species in the green cover blend that we're using that will be palatable even into mid to late September. If, like years past, the past 3 or 4 years, we get a wicked drought at the end of summer and we're not able to plant our food plots, that summer crop is still providing attractive, palatable forage that we can hunt over. That's why it's so important that we start with our summer crop, planting now, bringing deer in, and planning for those early season hunts. When creating, planning, managing a hidey hole food plot, you need to keep 3 things in mind. The first is you need sunlight reaching the ground. If you get sunlight to the ground and stuff can start growing, that's a limited resource. In big timber country, getting sunlight to the ground often means you need to fire up the steel chainsaw. That closed canopy forest is capturing all that sunlight up high, not getting to the ground, and that's why there's no groceries there on the ground throughout the timber. And you walk through there and it's bare. We call that a biological desert. There's no food or cover in that type of habitat. Get that steel, start felling trees, open that canopy up. You just need a little 20, 30 yard area to get sunlight through that canopy to the ground. Keep in mind during the summer, the canopies are full of leaves. So you may need to widen that hidey hole out a bit more to get enough sunlight. But during the fall, as leaves start falling, it's real easy for sunlight to get down. You still need to have an opening, but more sunlight is definitely going to reach the ground during the fall and winter for your hidey hole. But if you're planning on planting a summer crop, you need to make sure you widen it out enough that there's an adequate sunlight reaching the ground. Even after you've opened up the canopy, got sunlight down, that sunlight may not be reaching the soil. There's probably still a layer of leaves or vegetation down. You need to remove that and make sure that sunlight is actually reaching the soil. That brings us to the second thing every hidey hole food plot needs: seed to soil contact. If you broadcast seed into leaf litter or grass, any vegetation that's laying on top of the soil, a lot of those seeds aren't actually going to make soil contact. They're going to lay on top. They're going to get caught up in that vegetation. Yeah, when it rains, they'll probably swell, start germinating, but then they're going to die. Those roots just can't make contact with the soil. So it's really important that we remove that leaf litter, vegetation, and making sure we get those seeds making direct contact with the soil. What's great about hidey hole food plots is you can do them with hand tools. And the goal of hidey holes should be not to do any disturbance to the soil. So how do you create that seed bed where you can have seed to soil contact? Well, it's going to depend on your site. Let's start with leaf litter. If you're in that closed campy forest and you've got a bunch of leaf litter, again, you could take a backpack blower, you can blow it off, burn it. If you've got grass, you can do the same thing. You can burn it off, make you a fire ring around it, weed eat it down, blow it off, burn. If that grass is real clumpy, terminate it with herbicide first, dry up. You may have enough soil exposed after it dries, after it's dead and dries, to be able to grow a food plot. And that may be all you need to do. In other cases, you may need to spray, weed eat, blow it off, and then have enough soil. If not, you're probably then going to have to use prescribed fire. Those are the techniques you can use with hand tools to ensure seed falls on exposed soil.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Also by Green Cover Food Plots, Winchester, PH Outdoors, Moultrie, Steel, Fleet Outdoor Apparel, Morel Targets, Fourth Arrow, Soil Pro Outdoors, Scorpion Venom Archery, Case IH Tractors, Burris Optics, and Redneck Hunting Blinds.
Once you have sunlight reaching the ground, the soil's exposed, it's time to plant, but you need to wait for a good rain. Seeds need moisture for germination. They can't lay on that soil for too many days. They'll get hot and die. They're a living organism, and some seeds are stronger than others. Real hard seeds might be able to lay on the soil a bit longer. Big seeds like a soybean are usually very weak. So if they're laying on, an area that you use prescribed fire on that's black, soaking up the sun's energy, that big seed will die fairly quickly. So you don't want seeds laying on the ground very long. On top of that, the longer that they're laying on the ground means they're susceptible to critters coming in and eating them. Turkeys, squirrels, crows, other birds, mice, things will come in and wipe out a hidey hole food plot real fast before the seed even germinates if it's laying there for just a few days. So you want to make sure when you get ready to plant, you've got a good rain coming, because rain actually kind of changes those seeds. They start taking in moisture. They're not as palatable to those critters that consume them. So once they start swelling, getting, moisture inside and putting on roots and germinating, then you're off to the races. You need a ½ inch or more of rain to really do good. And if you can time it well, where you have those gentle rains every few days, even better, rather than just ½ inch of rain and then you're hot and dry, because those young seedlings will come up after that rain, and if it's hot and dry, they'll get stressed, they need water, and they may die, or they just won't ever reach their full potential. So look at the forecast and plan your planting based on the rain. If you can plant right before or even during that ½ inch or more rain, your hidey hole food plot has a higher chance of success. Whether you're creating a new food plot this summer, going to plant with a summer crop, or preparing for a fall planting, or you've used hidey holes in the past as part of your hunting strategy, make sure you've got enough sunlight reaching the ground so forage can grow, that you've got seed to soil contact in each plot, so when you plant it right before or during that good rain, seed is hitting the soil, can germinate, and get off to a great start. In creation, when sunlight hits the ground, something's going to grow. It's either going to be high quality forage that you planted with a purpose and a mission, or you're going to have weeds. The same is true for your life. I hope you slow down this week, listen to the Creator, open up the Bible, read the Scripture, His Word, because He's planted seeds within you. And His Word nourishes and waters those seeds, and you can watch them grow into something incredible. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.